To provide nutritious food to people in need with compassion, dignity, and respect. That's our goal, the banner we gather under. FISH unites us to support and nurse those who have found themselves with challenges beyond their means. Annie, a food bank customer, was moved enough to write us and express just how valuable FISH was to her and her family. Annie writes, "You make a positive impact on families every day. Your graciousness is nourishment, feeding our hearts and soul. Your act of kindness not only provides nutritious food, it provides hope." Annie is one of many with a common story, a story of hunger, a most basic need. What would you do if you could not provide food for your family?
I started to be a graphic artist to begin with, and but we had pregnant and we had a child, and of course insurance became very necessary, and I became a technical support person. You know, one thing led to another, and you know, when you go through those situations, sometimes you find yourself down, and it's not as easy as it used to be. So I found myself, you know, not be able to meet, you know, my end. At the end of the month, I was kind of like, wow, what do I have to do? It came to a time where I was needing to need some help, you know, and I had, like I said, 2 wonderful, smart girls, and I just didn't want to let them down. And my kids went to a school here in the North End, and across the street there was a church that my wife had found out there was a food bank. It was really helpful. It was just, I didn't believe that much amount of food was given to a family. I always imagined just peanut butter or something basic, but you know, it was a good help for the month. And but the first day I went there, it was just, it was like the most humbling experience ever, because I've given and given, but I feel like I got kicked in the gut as a human being. And you know, one of the things that I learned about FISH is they're not only giving food, but they're giving dignity. The person that helped me there, she was an angel, you know. She looked at me and she made me realize, hey, you know, it happens, you know. It's not just for people that, you know, get in trouble in life. It's for anybody.
My family, we're a military family. My husband joined the military 4 years ago. So, military, you write everything in pencil. Don't put anything in pen. You don't plan for anything. Joining the Army, we had a lot of expenses that we didn't expect. You have to pay for a whole month in advance, even on base housing. The move, my husband, they of course transported him. I had to move my son and myself. And so we had those expenses, had car issues, and I was talking to a girlfriend, and she said, there's this place you can go. You can get, you know, whatever you need for food. Had to fix the car, ran out of money, my husband was gone. But I went in there, you know, wondering what are they gonna think of me? Do I hide the fact of who I am and, you know, where I come from? A little embarrassed by it, but as soon as I started talking to the staff in there, when I checked in at the desk, they made me feel very welcome. And I knew that I was there for the right reason. It was for my son. They were just, I mean, I just can't say how kind they were. The people that were there that walked me through and showed me what I could, you know, what I could have and what I could tell them what I needed. But they treated the people with respect, and you didn't feel like, you know, you were bad because you couldn't manage your money or whatever, that you needed help.
Jose and Carmen found compassion at FISH. FISH was there to help light the path and nurse them until they passed their time of need. Unfortunately, there are still those out there who need our support. The customers at FISH have been subjected to a series of difficulties by no fault of their own. It's FISH's small act of kindness, a meal, that makes all the difference. FISH is able to provide a meal for just 18 cents because of our committed partners. And because of our generous donors, we provided 4.8 million meals to our neighbors in Pierce County. Hope begins with knowing where your next meal is coming from. And hope leads to courage and positive change. And when the sun rises on a new day and progress begins, it's time to share in the good fortune. Our volunteers are vital to the mission and success of Fish, and you may be surprised at who you will find lending a hand.
My son started school full-time, went to first grade, and I was sitting at home looking at four walls going, I can't do this. I'm so used to being busy doing something, and went down and asked if I could volunteer one day. I'm a mom of 4. I have 1 child with me, the other 3 are adults, and I know how hard it was to make sure they were all taken care of. When I go down the street and I see people that are homeless or digging through trash cans, which I've had at my pantry, and I stop them, you know, that was put there for a reason. I've always been involved in my community wherever I am, and I just can't stand to see people going without, and I can't stand people being treated like they're less than just because they can't afford to buy food. I carry flyers with me for my food bank. We are the closest one to the base. And I let them know, you can come here. You won't be judged. You will be treated with respect and compassion. And you can get the food that you need for your family. There's no need to be doing what you're doing and going without and eating things that aren't healthy just because it's cheap.
I started volunteering there. You know, every Tuesday there's trucks to unload, and you know, the food doesn't get there by itself, and it has to be shelved, and there's a lot of people, wonderful, beautiful angels working there, coordinating things, and you know, and it's almost like running a supermarket. And tons of volunteers. I mean, I can't even start counting how many people. There was one family, sometimes they came with all the children on a constant basis, and that would inspire me. So I'm hoping to leave a message for my children to say, hey, no matter how perfect your life is, you can end up somewhere. I want them to see that net. And I'm also very proud of them because they do see it, you know? They volunteer a lot. In society, they say they, those people, you know? They make it sound like a lot of people are there. You know, some people, you know, do have some bad choices, but a lot of us are hardworking people trying to make ends meet. I hope people get over the stigma that, hey, a food bank is for somebody who's just poor or out of it or, you know, bad choices. You know, my biggest legacy is have self-confidence, trust in the Lord with the blessings, you know, work hard with skill and knowledge, but live a balanced life with love, giving.